most of banking is basically, been the same for, 100 years,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
And that's because,
I think earlier you
you
mentioned,
know,
Buck, where like the Bloomberg terminals, they haven't really changed that much over the a couple of decades.
well, they have, but they do, they look really simplistic, and
And what
yeah,
works works, right?
they're, yeah, exactly, and yeah, nobody wants to. It's not like your Apple OS where it needs to have a new slick button every other week in order to
Yeah.
get you to go buy a new phone.
No. I
Um,
guess
you,
what I was
you,
referring to with RZA is more like perpetual swaps and those types of things, like different instruments that might be unique to crypto that they currently don't have in the traditional system. Like it is more rare when those things come up, but I think like each cycle we tend to have like a handful, like a couple different new tools that come up. So, but yeah, no, I
mm,
get your point.
yep, yeah. There's definitely still room to add things as well. That's always possible.
Right. Now, I would love to get your take on this and stuff because you've been using these products for quite a long time. Like, no, Aave works great. It's awesome. But, I mean, one criticism that, I mean, it is kind of true is that they took fucking forever to leave Ethereum and go on to other L2s. Or, realistically, they didn't. I mean, it took them forever to get on OP or Optimism and stuff like that, and and Phantom and stuff like that. It just took them quite a long. They stayed on Ethereum, and I really feel like that kind of hurt them a little, even though they're still the gold standard because it works and a lot of big the players can use them. But I feel like more people there would have been a lot more like, I don't know, middle class crypto people would have probably used them more if they were on other chains a lot faster and they were pretty slow to move and stuff. A lot of the Ethereum projects that were native to Ethereum took them forever to want to leave Ethereum or upgrade to other L1s to even get any traction and
Mm,
stuff. I mean, and
yep.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, it actually makes sense from a strategic perspective. They already are the incumbent on the biggest chain where pretty much all the value is, right? So why would they want to go support other chains and take risk on those other chains, which are inherently riskier because they're more volatile and potentially risk their entire brand, right? This is why they're not coming to Pulse Chain, probably ever. Um, at least not this cycle for sure, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't want to take risk on the OA. So that's what I mean. We're the OnlyFans girl. We're the stripper, right? We're not the doctors and lawyers that
Right.
they're serving on Ethereum.
Yeah, but
So
if I can I just add one thing though, I mean it's a little like even though they're the incumbent now, it's a little early in crypto to say that they're going to be the only thing out here. Realistically, I mean, you could
no, there are plenty. Yeah, there are plenty out there, but they serve that one client niche, which is enormous, really well, and that's where they make all their money,
Yep.
right? So it's the same reason Goldman Sachs doesn't open up a private bank branch in, I don't know, Skokie, Illinois, right, or Poughkeepsie, or Springfield, Massachusetts, right? They could, they could probably get a couple clients from those places, but they focus on just major metro areas, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, etc. Right? Because that's they just want to make sure they cover those markets as well as possible. That's because the overwhelming majority of value and fees for them is really just about dominating Ethereum, and there's just a lot of risk into going to open up a private bank, let's say in Mexico City. You can do that, right? But if you do, the odds of you onboarding a person who's connected to the cartels or some sort of drug lord is probably just grown exponentially, right? So you have to be you just have to be very careful about
as a
that
Hispanic
kind of
man, I
stuff.
feel very attacked by these
Well, I was
statements.
gonna say, are you going over
You
to
you,
Aave or
you don't
something?
know if I'm Hispanic. Yeah.
Or not Aave? Sorry, no, AVAX. That's what I meant. Are you going over to AVAX or something? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're over on AVAX, but they have to be careful, right? So if
Yeah,
AVAX has problems, it can ruin their reputation, right? So
yeah,
Yeah.
Ethereum is relatively stable, right, compared to those other L1s, right? So the other thing is their code doesn't have the risk parameters that we've built specifically to protect us, right? So there's a whole bunch of ways to attack Aave V2, especially if you have a very volatile L1, right?
Right.
So and you've seen that a little bit actually with the curve attack, right? So it's something they have to be very careful about. So that's one kind of set of improvements that we made, where effectively we've made it so that it won't be economically profitable for you to go try and manipulate Pulse Chain and attack us, right?
Yeah.
So that's stuff we built into our code.
Yeah.
Just anticipating this problem, and we built this into our code before the curve attack happened, which shows you my guys are fucking smart, because they saw this as a potential, and went and spent the time to go prepare for it. Like how many other teams are going to go do that, right?
Right.
It just shows you like that they were thinking really hard about what can happen, and I've explained to them the risk of the OA there. Like the OA has theoretically, or the God will, have the ability to basically rug the price if they want, right? So how do we manage that, right? How do we make sure that doesn't lead to everybody losing all their money, right? So we've put in these protections to basically take away that incentive.
Right.
So that's a good example. So Aave probably can't launch on Pulse Chain, to be honest, and they won't. But I welcome it. When they do, we're all going to have so much money we won't care.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and also it does, like you said, they're not really incentivized to. So great. Like I think, like DCC said at the beginning, right? Like having as many, organic or native coins and projects and platforms in the Pulse Chain ecosystem is going to be important, because you probably end up having like these islands, I guess, of like not necessarily the same people, but like groups of people that are kind of like trusted members, right? So you have like obviously Richard Hart, any coin he's related to, everybody trusts to some extent. Then you have Alex from Hedron. That's starting to become an area that is like somewhat trusted, right, outside of Richard Hart. What you guys are doing, I think, will benefit a lot of what Richard has wanted for the Hex and Pulse Chain community for a while anyways, right? So then, if you guys become a trusted group of people in there, then, you might have other projects by extension, right, start kind of building off each other's reputation. So you might kind of get that where you get like these personalities within the space that people know they can trust, so that when other people start building in the space, at least there's a group of projects that people are comfortable with. But of course, that'll shake out over time. We don't know that for certain, but it seems like people, will want leaders more than, just there's just going to be a bunch of different coins. Because when you look at the list of what, like the 140 coins that currently exist or that are being planned to come on to Pulse Chain, like 95% of them look like absolute trash.
Damn, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Fucking hot garbage.
Yeah.
But we should give them. We should give. I mean, it's
But
it's
that's
beautiful.
every community.
It's
too.
every community.
It's a whole crypto game.
Because I had a couple. I had a couple private conversations with some people that are big investors in other chains, and trying to talk to them about convincing them, like, hey, you might want to look into Pulse Chain and Hex and everything like that. And then they had seen these websites full of all the lists and stuff because we're doing the research, and they were like, bro, this is hot garbage. I was like, bro, look at half the shit on fucking OP or on any L1.